Hey everybody, Justin Senior here. I got a great video for you today, and we're talking about looking at your reporting inside of Facebook ads. We're going to try to pick out some of the really important metrics that I want you guys to be looking at when you're looking at your ads. Now, obviously, there's nothing more important than sales, right? Revenue, basically money in, money out, right? How much money did you make? How many sales did you make? How much did you spend? That's going to be the most important thing. Everything else I'm going to show you here are just simply indications, or indicators, I should say, okay? So they're going to indicate to you that an ad may or may not be performing well, but I'll tell you that there's been examples, I've had some students that have had numbers that have kind of been all over the place and not really matching some of the numbers I'm going to tell you in a little bit, but they're still profitable. So don't worry about these, if you're profitable and the numbers are weird, who cares, right? The only thing that we care about is making money. But I'm going to show you really what things I look at as indicators to tell me if an ad is kind of working or not. Okay, so I'm over here in my Facebook ads, manage ads thing, and I just opened up a campaign that I'm going to show you. Okay, this was a pretty good campaign that we did. You could see down over here on the amount spent column, we spent about $1,500 and we returned about $4,200 in revenue. So I mean, it was a pretty successful campaign. We scaled it up, a little bit. And this is kind of, this did 280 conversions, right? It had over 350 sales. Clearly, we could see any numbers that we want in terms of the indicators, and it's not going to matter because we're profitable, right? So make sure you keep that in mind, that it doesn't matter if the numbers are weird if you're profitable. But this is especially helpful if you're trying to kind of, especially at the beginning, learning to see if your ad is on the track to be successful, or if you're kind of at a break-even spot, or if you're not making a lot of money. You could look at these metrics and say, okay, I'm going to continue with the ad, or maybe I'm going to cut it. So the most important metric, in my opinion, especially at the start, is CPM. So you can go over here and click columns, and then delivery. Okay, and inside columns delivery, the last column here, CPM, which is cost per 1,000 impressions. Okay, CPM, M is for mille, and it's the Latin word for 1,000. So CPM, what are you paying to show it to 1,000 people? So this is how you have your $5 budget. This is just pure math based on your budget and your CPM. So if you have a $5 a day budget, which is what I started all my ads at, you can see all the way down here. We started off very slow. And then we got all the way up to to here with 80 conversions in one day, right? So you're not doing that off of $5. Of course, we're scaling our budgets. But overall, when we start, we're going to start with a $5 budget. So if you have a $5 CPM, remember CPM means cost per 1,000 impressions. So if you have a $5 CPM and you're spending $5 a day, then you're going to show it to 1,000 people, right? If your cost to show it to 1,000 people is $5, and you spend $5, and you're going to show it to 1,000 people. Another example, let's say your cost per 1,000 impressions is $10, and you show it to 5 people, then you're going to show it to 500 people that day. So the lower the CPM, the better. And typically, especially when you're doing a website conversion ad, you're going to see your CPM kind of be all over the place at the beginning. Right? It takes a couple days for website conversion ads to optimize, so it wouldn't be out of the ordinary for your CPM to be above the range that you'd want it to be in. And for me, that's $4 to $8 in terms of my CPM range. Obviously, lower the better. So you see right here, this is a pretty good campaign. I had actually one right at $4 and another ad set in here for $5.07. So I'm looking for $4 to $8 CPM. I'm right in that range. Now, when you look at the campaign and you take a look at that CPM, you should hope to see your CPM drop as the ad starts to optimize. So that's indicator number one. CPM being within the $4 to $8 range, and that's very important, and having the number kind of go down after the optimization period. You shouldn't see your CPMs really increase after the ad optimizes, and before it optimizes, who knows? You could be at $10, $12, $16 CPM. Maybe you open up a $2 CPM. Who knows? The numbers are going to go. They're going to move around a lot until the ad optimizes. That's totally normal. Okay, but what you want to see is your CPM be about $4 to $8, definitely by day 5. Remember, what I like to do is $5 a day, testing up to $25. So you're basically giving your ad 5 days to fully optimize, right? If you're seeing CPM still over the $4 to $8 range at the end and you're not profitable, then that's a great indication that you're going to want to turn your ad off. Now, again, I want to stress this point. Let's say my CPM is $35 and I'm still profitable, then no one cares, right? I'll pay $35 all day if I'm profitable. It doesn't matter. But these are the ranges, these are the indications that I like to see, $4 to $8 CPM. And again, you want to see your CPM go down over time. Okay, that's going to be that would be typical. So Another very important metric that I look at the beginning is going to be click-through rate. Okay, and we're going to find that over in performance and clicks. So a different column, performance and clicks. And there's a couple different CTRs here. You can see one CTR. And if you scroll all the way to the end, there's another CTR. Okay, so these are different numbers. This is CTR in terms of everything. So what's the click-through rate? So click-through rate, if you don't know what that is, let's say if it's a 100% click-through rate, that means everyone who sees it is going to click on something in your ad. On the CTR click-through rate for all, that would mean anything, including likes, comments, shares, opening the image in a bigger window, obviously clicking the link, even clicking the fan page, clicking the like button on the fan page. That all counts as CTR. We're not so impressed by that number because we don't really care about likes and comments, right? So this is the CTR link. This is the number that you're going to want to look for. And here's a perfect example about these just being indicators. I didn't look at this before I started the video. This is a very low CTR. I'd like to see at least 0.5 CTR. That would be an indication to me and that still means basically 1 out of every 200 people that see the ad are going to click on the link. So a 0.5 CTR, that would be a baseline that I'd look for. And again, this is a great example about why these are just indicators, right? I'm at 0.28 and 0.39 for click-through rate, but I've still, I was doing about we spent $1,500 and we took in about $4,500, so almost $1 spent to $4 return. So no one, if you're making $4 for every dollar you spend and you have a 0.28 CTR, you're still very happy because CTRs don't make you money. Sales make you money. Okay, so in this case, yes, I do want to see 0.5 CTR, but I'm absolutely not going to turn off this ad just because I don't have the CTR that I'm looking for. And by the way, CTR will drastically vary depending on the ad objective that you have. On a PPE ad, your CTR, especially this number over here, the CTR all, you're going to see something like 6, 7, 8, 10%. Okay, you're never going to see that over here for a CTR link. And the numbers will also be different if you're doing a clicks to website ad rather than a website conversion photo post, which is what you're seeing here. This is a website conversion photo post ad. If you were to do a website clicks ad or a CTW clicks to website ad, you're going to see this number be a bit higher because the entire idea of the objective for the ad is that you're getting clicks to the website. So, I'm still recommending website conversion photo posts without a doubt, but I'm just letting you know that the CTR numbers will vary tremendously depending on the ad objective that you have. And that's okay. PPE, like I said, you're going to see a higher CTR. Website conversion, you're going to see a lower CTR. Clicks to website, you're going to see a little bit higher of a CTR in terms of link click. I'm shooting for 0.5% CTR. Some of my huge winning campaigns are, 1.5 to 2.5% CTR link for a website conversion photo post. Those are the ones that, we're putting in $1 and getting $10 back, right? Those are the, the really huge ones. So far, and by the way, in the performance and clicks column, here's the same CPM, right? We saw CPM, cost per 1,000 impressions. We saw the $4 and the $5 on the delivery column. So you can see everything inside of performance and clicks. I'm just kind of used to clicking through this way. So those are two of the most important metrics that you want to look at as your ad is kind of getting optimized, as your ad's getting started, right? They're only indicators, right? They're not going to matter that much. And remember, your CPM is directly tied to your budget. Your CPM dictates kind of what you spend, right? Obviously, your budget dictates how much you're spending, but the CPM dictates what you're getting for that spend. So again, $5 CPM, so a $5 cost to show it to 1,000 people. If I spend $5, I'm going to show it to 1,000 people. So that's why a lot of people ask the question, well, how come I'm in this ad I'm only showing it to 400 people today, and in this other ad I'm showing it to 2,000 people today? It's because your CPM is drastically different. CPMs will vary for a number of different reasons. Your targeting, the competition in your targeting, right? How many people are kind of going after the same impressions? If more people are going after the same impressions, then it's going to cost more. It's supply and demand. This is a big marketplace, this Facebook ads. In the background, what's happening is you're placing bids on these impressions. And for the most part, Facebook is bidding on your behalf automatically. So it's not exactly that you know that you're doing that, but that's what's going on. So a higher CPM, means that there are just more people competing for that same impression. Now, my thoughts about abundance and oversaturation. I don't think there's anything that's oversaturated. And again, you could have a $3,000 CPM. You could still potentially be profitable. These are just indications. Okay. So CTR, CPM, those are the most important ones that you're going to want to look at the beginning. And again, you should see the CTR and the CPM. Those numbers should get better as the ad optimizes over that first 3, 4, 5 days. So once the ad is running, there's definitely another big thing that I want to look at, and this is kind of later on. And I'll tell you that the most important thing that I'm looking at every day is conversions and ad spent, or ad money spent. And you can see over here, I'm getting a $5.27 cost per conversion. So, I typically see $3 to $7 for a CPA, a cost per acquisition, or basically a cost per sale for t-shirts. Okay, this is a t-shirt product. So at $5.27, I'm right in that range. It's great. And this is also on conversion, not on individual purchase, because Facebook's still going to count someone who buys 1 or 100, they're going to count it as one conversion. So, we're definitely getting more than one order quantity in our orders here. We're basically our cost per individual sale is probably something like $4, and that's awesome. Okay, and that's the number, that's the metric that you need to know, right? If you're taking in $100 in revenue and you're spending $101 on ads, then CPM and CTR are meaningless because you're not profitable. So that's the most important thing. I can't stress that enough. I've said it a million times already in this 10-minute video, but these are just indicators. So last thing here, frequency. Okay, and that's this column right here, frequency, and it tells you what it is. Basically, for anyone who's seen the ad, frequency tells you how many times they've seen the ad on average. So, maybe you have a million people in the audience, but you've only shown it to 75,000, right? So reach is how many people have seen your ad. And again, you just you hover your mouse over this little eye and it tells you. Reach, the number of people your ad was shown to. So 75,000 people have seen this ad already. Now, out of those 75,975 people, each of them have seen the ad on average 1.5 or 1.56 times. So obviously you can't see an ad half of a time, but that basically means, some people see it twice, some people see it once. Now, frequency is a very important number to stay on top of, especially when you're scaling and as you get basically to the end of at the end of your campaign. When you see frequency, for me, about 2.5, that's when, again, it's only an indicator, but 2.5 is when I start to think that, I've kind of shown the ad enough times. They've already seen it. I don't want to get into the 3, 4, 5, 6 frequency range. Caveat being on a retargeting ad, you will get huge frequencies, and that's okay, because that's the whole idea of retargeting. You want to keep showing them the ad. You want to, basically remind them to come back. But for these basic ads, this is not a retargeting ad. This is just an ad that I opened up this product with. 2.5 on the frequency is about the level that's too high for me. Now, also remember that they're just indications. So if you're at a 20.5 frequency and you're still making profit every day, then who cares? But to me, 2.5, when my ad starts slowing down, I see frequency at 2.5, I'm not really making money or I'm breaking even, then it's time to cut the ad. Because, at that point, people have seen it 2 or 3 times on average. I don't want to show it to them any more times. That's it. So frequency, it's a very important number. But it's not something that you're going to look at the forefront. When you start, you're going to be at like 1.01 frequency. Right? You're not going to care about frequency until you're over 2. So, that's pretty much it. Okay? There are other metrics here, but a lot of these metrics are kind of just, they get extrapolated out from some of the other metrics we talked about. Okay, so for example, link clicks. So link clicks is just the exact, result of a mathematical formula of CTR times reach. So 0.28% of 75,000 is 328 clicks. Okay, so it's just basic math here. So the numbers that you really want to be concerned with are CPM and CTR because they build all of your other numbers, right? CPM determines your reach. Your reach times your CTR determines your link clicks. Okay, your link clicks divided by the amount of money that you spent equals your cost per click. And I don't care what your cost per click here is. I have students that have literally a $4 cost per click and they're still profitable. So it's just indications. And remember, they all come from CPM and CTR. These are all formula based. Okay. So clicks here, right? Clicks all. This is CTR is 1.91. So 1.91% of 75,000 is 2268. That's how many clicks we have. So all these numbers, all these other metrics in here are built off of CPM and CTR. So once you understand CPM and CTR, once you have a good grasp on what CPMs you're getting, what CPMs you're getting on winners, what CPMs you're getting on losers, that's going to tell you everything else that you need to know. And remember, I'm looking for $4 to $8 on CPM. So take advantage of this. This is right inside your Facebook ads account. All you need to do is go to Manage Ads, click on any campaign, click into the campaign. So here's my campaign, CA4121. And I just have some weird naming conventions. You could have your own naming conventions, however you want. But this is where you'll find all of that data, and you can customize all your columns, right? I have my own customized column here, so I could see my total conversion value, basically see how much money I put in to how much money I'm taking out. My cost per conversion, my number of conversions. These are the most important things, okay? CPM, CTR, absolutely important, but they're just indications of an ad success. They're not an end-all, be-all. So I really hope this was helpful for you guys. I know it can be kind of a bit overwhelming, especially seeing all these, you might not have seen CTR, CPCs, CPMs. They might sound foreign to you. It's totally okay. Just press the I up here. It's going to tell you exactly what it is. And remember, you want to focus on CPM and CTR, specifically CTR link. So that's reporting in there. Again, hopefully it was helpful, and I will talk to you real soon.